Wars have always resulted in the destruction. The majority of people killed in the deadliest wars of all time are innocent civilians. Welcome to our channel Data is Everything. Today we will discuss about the 10 deadliest wars in the history of the world, which resulted in the great loss to the mankind. Since the dawn of time, conflicts have been a part of human history. The oldest known evidence of human warfare indicates that the first battle took place along the Egypt-Sudan border about 13,000 years ago. This dispute is thought to have erupted as a result of rivalry for resources, in this case, water. A war can develop, however, for several reasons: poverty, weak government leadership, civil strife, religion, territorial conflicts, wealth, and a multitude of other factors are all responsible for most of human history's wars. With that said, here is a glimpse at history's deadliest battles. 10. The 30 Years' War. As the name suggests, from 1618 to 1648 in Central Europe, the 30 Years' War was waged between Catholic and Protestant states. The conflicts gradually attracted Europe's great powers, culminating in one of the longest, most devastating and deadliest conflicts in the history of Europe. The war is believed to have been responsible for the deaths of 8 million civilians as well as military personnel. 9. The Chinese Civil War. In August of 1927, between the government-backed Kuomintang and the Communist Party of China, the Chinese Civil War began. By 1950, the massacres and mass atrocities carried out by both sides had resulted in more than 8 million deaths. 8. The Russian Civil War. About 9 million people, 8 million of whom were civilians, died in the Russian Civil War. The war spanned from 1917 to 1922 and was fought between competing political forces, namely the Red Army and the White Army, immediately following the Russian revolutions of 1917. 7. The Dungan Revolt. In 19th-century China, under the Qing Dynasty, the Dungan Rebellion was a war fought between the Han's Chinese ethnic group originating in East Asia and the Huist Chinese Muslims. There have been nearly 20 million war-related deaths, mainly caused by war-related starvation and migration. 6. Unlucian Rebellion. Between 755 AD and 763 AD, the Unlucian Rebellion was a rebellion against the Tang Dynasty of China. Although the death toll is difficult to reliably report, census estimates taken years after the war indicate that about 36 million people were killed, or about two-thirds of the empire's population. 5. World War I. The First World War was waged between the Central Powers and the Allies. From 1914 to 1918, the war lasted for 4 years, but it was responsible for about 18 million deaths. Of the 18 million deaths, some 11 million were military personnel and some 7 million people were civilians. 4. Taiping Rebellion. The Taiping Rebellion, yet another war in China, was another large-scale rebellion fought between 1850 and 1864. The war was waged between the Qing Dynasty and the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom's Christian millenarian movement. While there is not an exact figure, the Taiping Rebellion is blamed for 20 to 30 million deaths in most figures. 3. The Qing Dynasty conquest of the Ming Dynasty. It was anything but peaceful to move from the Qing Dynasty to the Ming Dynasty. From 1618 to 1683, the uprising lasted for over 60 years, resulting in the deaths of 25 million people. In northeastern China, what began as a relatively small uprising eventually culminated in one of the worst conflicts in the country as well as one of the deadliest wars in history. 2. The Second Sino-Japanese War. The Second Sino-Japanese War between the National Revolutionary Army of the Republic of China and the Imperial Japanese Army was fought between 1937 and 1945. The war started with the Marco Polo Bridge incident, it is generally believed, and later escalated to an all-out war that culminated in 25 million civilian deaths and more than 4 million military deaths in China and Japan. 1. World War II. A global war that spanned from 1939 to 1945 was World War II. In the worst war in history, the war pitted the Allies and the Axis powers and was responsible for the deaths of over 70 million people. The war was also responsible for the deaths of more than 50 million civilians, known for its genocidal policy against the Jewish people. All of the worst wars in history are a testament to that sentiment, with very expensive end results, a repeating trend. World War II, the last large-scale war, was responsible for nearly 70 million deaths. With the modern world's ever-advancing technologies and a booming population, the next war will inevitably result in an unprecedented number of deaths. Let history be a teacher so that we can avoid the same mistakes and, once and for all, put an end to conflict. That was all for today's video. Let us know your opinions about the war in the comment section. Thank you for watching Data is Everything. Like, share and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content.